Opinion: the statesman of stability Manoj Sinha's unseen transformation of Kashmir since the dawn of independence. Jammu and Kashmir has travelled its own troubled path, filled with loss, half-finished dreams, and layers of political knots that few dare to untangle. Still, over the past 5 years a slow, silent turnaround has begun in this fragile region, not with shouting headlines, but through calm resolve, hard work, and careful leadership. Driving that change is a figure who prefers results to red carpets. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. Sinha took the reins in August 2020 and quickly steered the valley away from the cloud of uncertainty that lingered after Article 370 was scrapped. Kashmir, long starved of political direction and economic energy, had fallen into a mix of dead ends and competing stories told over many years. Rather than retreat, he chose to engage, reaching beyond the usual bureaucratic ring to hear ordinary people, from snowbound Kupwara hamlets to Shop Ian's sprawling apple orchards. He moved about the region, holding public darbars, stepping into living rooms, absorbing tales of loss, and kick-starting a trust-building drive that many now call one of independence's boldest democratic trials. Today, under his stewardship, the valley has witnessed a metamorphosis few thought was possible. The politics of hartal and shutdowns, once an endemic tool of separatist expression, has vanished almost completely. No longer are marketplaces ghost towns under the diktat of militant threats or Hurriyat calendars. The Pahalgam terror attack, which recently shook the conscience of the nation, saw something unprecedented: thousands of Kashmiris pouring into the streets not in protest against the state, but in resounding condemnation of terrorism. For the first time in the valley's recent memory, the people stood not apart, but with the state. That moment, pregnant with symbolism, did not arise from fear but from faith. Faith in an administration that has upheld the doctrine Sinha so often repeats: Biguna ko chahido mat, or gunagar ko kudo mat. Touch not the innocent, and spare not the guilty. This phrase has not merely remained rhetorical. It has come alive through policy. During Manoj Sinha's tenure, the infamous Shopian encounter, once a symbol of institutional betrayal, was not buried in silence. Instead, it became a test case for justice. The lieutenant governor personally reached the upper reaches of the victims' families, stood with them in their grief, and ensured that the truth prevailed. The guilty were not shielded, they were punished. In a land where impunity once bred mistrust, this act restored faith. For perhaps the first time, the people began to see the state not as an occupying force, but as a guarantor of justice. What enhances this transformation is the fact that it occurred without a popular governing regime. No CM was elected, nor was there any coalition mathematics. It was only with the effective machinery of administrative will that development progressed. Sopari and Pulwama do not experience stone pelting anymore. Rather now, there is the construction of new roads, colleges, water supply projects, entrepreneurial initiatives, and a plethora of initiatives aimed at the youth. Even the last village on the last hill is targeted by government schemes. Jammu Kashmir is often leading for a change, and is not lagging behind in implementation metrics. Places no train would have gone can now be reached on tracks. Rutted lanes that once stirred clouds of dust have grown into smooth national highways and feel like the big city. Even the quietest hamlet can log onto high-speed internet, browse e-government sites and file complaints. A quick peek at these online services lets people track school grants or irrigation plans, tools once seen as luxury phones but now ordinary. All this digital lift happened because of Sinha's forward-looking plan. And he has not simply ruled from behind files. He has walked among the people. His back-to-village initiatives are not just symbols of approachability, but rather catalysts for change. In the absence of political middlemen, Sinha has chosen people's proximity as the most democratic form of governance. Through these consistent, unobscured encounters, he has forged trust that is indestructible between Raj Bhavan and rural Kashmir. Security, too, has been approached with clinical precision. Without headline-grabbing operations or muscular pronouncements, his administration has delivered the most crushing blows to the terror ecosystem seen in decades. The oxygen supply to separatist politics has been severed economically, socially, and ideologically. Where once militant posters adorned walls, now Tiranga rallies stretch across towns once considered separatist strongholds. The silence of fear has been replaced by the voice of aspiration. 2 Elections. Lok Sabha polls and the recent assembly elections were conducted peacefully, with significant voter participation, including from areas historically associated with boycott politics. This return of democratic confidence is not a coincidence, it is a consequence. A consequence of Sinhas' unwavering insistence that governance must be clean, inclusive, and effective. His tenure has witnessed a systematic purge of corruption from public institutions, bringing accountability to the very core of state functioning. The days of middlemen and power brokers are numbered. Civil servants today know they are expected to deliver, not defer. And in all this, Sinha has never sought the limelight. A technocrat by training, a statesman by instinct, he belongs to that rare breed of public leaders who measure legacy not in applause but in outcomes. In a region that has long suffered from excesses of both neglect and noise, his quiet but unrelenting leadership has been both antidote and answer. Years from now, historians might call these months the turning point on Kashmir's future. The moment the story of hopelessness was eclipsed by a peaceful push for dignity. When a land long marked by divisions began slowly stitching itself together. And when an unspectacular, quiet, yet determined leader stopped making grand promises and simply got to work. Swipe left for next video. Manoj Sinha has not just governed Jammu Kashmir. He has guided its conscience, reformed its soul, and returned hope to a land long denied it. Mudassir Dar is a social and peace activist based in South Kashmir. He received a Rashtrapati Award and has contributed to many local and national publications on a diverse range of topics, including national security, politics, governance, peace, and conflict. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.